This video is going to walk you through the steps of app smashing Lumio, which is one of our District Big Six tools, and Canva. And what I did was I actually designed this presentation knowing that I was going to ultimately bring it into Lumio. So when I designed it, I took a Canva template and I found it in design and I wanted kind of like a beachy theme. And I just went through and overall style wise changed just a few things. I added the Lumio logo and my own title. But when I designed the slides in from the template, I knew that I was going to do a warm up, which was going to be a shout it out in Lumio. And a shout it out is kind of when you just ask a question out loud and your students can respond on their own devices answering that question. So I left this slide kind of blank, knowing that that was what it was going to be in Lumio. Next, I used this template that I found in Canva to make a this or that. And I literally just found my own pictures by searching elements and brought them in here. And I designed this to be a whole class whiteboard in Lumio. So I knew that when I brought this into Lumio that I was going to make this into an activity that all of my students can join and draw a big circle on, which looks like the Better Beach experience to them. I also designed just some plain slides that I wanted to drag into Lumio that maybe would be hard to design in Lumio. So I just found it easier because there are more design options and tools and images in Canva. So I knew that these were just going to be images to drag in, and I wasn't necessarily going to do anything or Lumioize them in any way. This one, same thing. I wanted to do ask a question. So I was going to turn that into some sort of activity. And same with these last two. So I'm going to show you how I actually bring that into Lumio and what that looks like. So my first step here in Canva is to share and download this. And you want to download it as not a PNG file, but a PDF standard or a PDF print. I'm going to choose standard. And you also have the option to download whatever pages you would like of that presentation. So if you don't want all of them, you decide maybe you weren't so keen on a couple of the pages and you didn't want to bring it into Lumio, you could either delete them or just deselect them. Now I'm going to download, and it's going to download to my device. And in the meantime, I'm going to go to Lumio. And I notice that my slideshow is now downloaded to my device. And just wait a second until this opens. And I'm going to go to import from my computer. And I'm going to import an existing PDF. And that's going to pull the PDF that just was downloaded here to my device. And I'm going to hit open. And what's going to be happening now is that Lumio is going to be grabbing those PDFs, and Lumio is going to ask me which ones I want to bring into my Lumio presentation. And this could take, depending on your slideshow or how many slides are in your presentation, this could take a while. So here's my presentation, and I can select and deselect. Let's say I don't think I'm going to have time for this particular this or that, so I deselect it. And then I add all of those, and it's going to create a Lumio for me. And just to refresh your memory, if you haven't used Lumio in a while, it works directly with smart boards and smart panels. And students can actually, with a code, join the presentation. So it's kind of like another version of a Nearpod, and you can make it interactive. So this is my title slide. I don't want to make this one interactive, but here I'm going to select my warm-up slide, and this was going to be my shout it out activity. And what I can do is I can actually select this little magic wand to very quickly turn whatever it is I'm working on, this visual, because remember, it's a picture that was brought in from Canva, and I can change this in the click of a button to an individual handout. So my students will each get a copy, and I'll be able to see how they answer on each of their own copies. This is a group workspace where they can all work together and write on this particular slide or add text or images. And then this is a whole class whiteboard, and I'm going to select that because what I want to happen is I want to ask them a warm-up question, and I want to have my students be able to each click on their text box and type me an answer, like so. And that's what it will look like on their end. This particular side was a this or that. And remember when I designed it, I wanted students to be able to just draw a check mark or a circle or even put a shape on which they thought looked like the Better Beach experience. So again, I go up to my wand and I'm going to make this a group workspace. I can preview it if I would like, and it's telling me student devices are required. I can go and do that to any particular activity that I've brought in from Canva. The other thing that you can remember is now your Canva presentation has been brought into Lumio. You can edit any of these slides. So if I ever wanted to go in to this particular slide and add some text or add another picture, I could. It wouldn't be exactly Canva stylized, but you would be able to add elements to it. And then you can always click here to add a blank slide. You can add in videos from YouTube. You can add your own games or manipulatives right from Lumio. So you can integrate it into the slides that you've brought in from Canva. What would the advantage be here of using Canva to begin with? I feel like stylistically, you can use Canva templates pretty easily to make professional looking slides that your students can interact with. When I'm done, I finish editing. And here's my slideshow. And when I want to use it with my students, I go to Start. And my students now will grab their Chromebooks and they will be able to join this and see what I see on my screen. And once they start joining the presentation, I'll click the 3 lines to show you. You can actually edit the lesson at any time. You can share it with another teacher. So either a copy of the lesson or you can share it with your students to let them access it at their own pace, like for homework after class. And when they go to Lumio, they will be able to join with your code and see your class. And once they've joined your class, they can keep going back. I'll click here on my people. No one's in my class yet, but this is the class code they will use to join. You can make it big. And they also have a QR code they can use. The students just go to hellosmart.com, or we have it in Clever here, Lumio for Students, and they are able to join your Lumio. And your Canva created Lumio, might I add. So that's just a way to bring in some of your Canva design talents into Lumio and kind of change those things you design into interactive presentations that your students can use and learn from on their Chromebooks.